So that was the most YouTube thing I've ever done, and if I ever do that again, so I literally just had to get up, press record on this thing, and then refilm myself getting out of bed. So if I ever do that again, feel free to unsubscribe. What's up, Mom? Say what's up.
Hey, what's up? What's so funny?
We're recording. Alright, so the first question is, do sleep habits and stress really affect nutrition? Now, I'm going to tackle sleep and stress separately because they kind of have different effects on the body and, nutrition decisions and all that. But first, we're going to talk about sleep. So I think a lot of people think that if you don't get an adequate amount of sleep, that you automatically won't make progress. Like it's just arbitrary, you need to have 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours or you're not going to make progress. That's simply not the case. You could be, sleeping a lot less and still making progress. What happens is when you're underslept, you actually become more hungry, so you're more prone to making, subpar nutrition decisions. So that's why it's so important to get an adequate amount of sleep each and every night, which the number of hours is kind of different for everyone. But it's not simply because of the sleep, it's because of what the lack of sleep kind of forces you to do. Your body kind of thinks that it can kind of make up for that energy, deficit that you couldn't replace with sleeping. They can make up for it, or your body can make up for it with food. So you'll notice you'll be a lot more hungry when you're underslept. Alright, so I just got back from the gym here, showered up. I thought that would be a good transition into the next question here, which is how important is it to eat right after a workout? I'm trying to figure out a good schedule with intermittent fasting. So there's a couple parts to kind of unpack there. First of all, I want to kind of address that post-workout window thing. Do you need to have a shake right after? Do you need to eat after? The answer is 100% no. That's kind of like bro science where they kind of push supplements on you. That 30-minute post-workout deal, especially with protein shakes and stuff like that, that is 100% not necessary. You don't have to rush to go eat something. So if you're not hungry, you don't have to eat. If you're hungry, go ahead and eat. And then second of all, for fat loss, it doesn't matter what you or when you eat, what you eat, how many times you eat. That stuff is completely irrelevant. It all comes down to how many calories you're eating. So for fat loss, even if you're fasting, even after a workout, it does not matter how many times you eat or the frequency, of the meals you're having. So, but I will say if you're trying to optimize muscle gain, especially if you're intermittent fasting, it would be more optimal to eat directly after a workout. Because you kind of want to refill everything, especially because you hadn't eaten for 6 to 8 hours. But it's not as important as some people think, especially if you eat before, if you eat before you go to the gym and you go to the gym, you have a good workout and everything, you're not gonna need to right away put on pack those calories, and it's just not necessary. Like I said, it was kind of duped up by supplement companies and stuff to sell you good products. Hey, it worked. I still do it now. The shake I made, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm just hungry. Like I'm just hungry after I work out. There is no reason, special reason that I do it. So really, I would say if your main goal is fat loss, I would just eat when you're hungry. It doesn't matter when you eat or how many meals you eat. If your main goal is to optimize muscle building, I would make sure you're fueled up right after the gym, especially if you're fasting. If you're not fasting, if fat loss is your main goal, it doesn't matter. So yeah, most of all, stick to the amount of meals and the types of foods that you can stick to. That's the most important thing, and stay consistent with that. You can't taste the spinach, by the way. Alright guys, we're going to knock out a couple questions here before we head on over to the gym, so I can show you guys some glute exercises, so build up that peach, show it off on Instagram, a little bit of that, without even using Photoshop. So we're going to answer a few here, then we're going to take you to the gym. I'll show you some exercises so that you can build your glutes. So the first question we're going to talk about here is, how do you avoid the burnout and get out of one if you're currently in one? So I think the first part is you have to understand that it's probably going to happen. You look at any other thing you do, you will kind of find yourself in a rut, whether it's another hobby or at work or even in a relationship, go through, trials and tribulations and stuff like that. So I think from a fitness standpoint, you have to understand that you will go through one. There is a couple things that you can do to kind of spice it up and kind of reignite your fire for, trying to look better, trying to be more healthy. I think trying to go to the gym at different times helps. So if you usually go in the morning, try going at night. If you usually go at night, try going in the morning. That really changes my perspective on the whole day, my mood, energy, sleep, and all that. So I would try that. Maybe try, if you do like typical bodybuilding exercises, try some CrossFit stuff, or try incorporating more like yoga stuff or something. You got to find something that you love, and maybe you're in a rut because you're seriously not doing the things that you love, and you're yet to find those. So it's really nothing wrong with that. You just have yet to find those yet. You can also, go to a new gym, go to the gym with a buddy, accountability. There's a lot of things that you can do. I would say that the most important thing is that you understand that it will happen, and that getting out of it takes some like conscious effort and just some, just basically science experiment to figure out what works best for you. Next question: whey protein or casein protein, which is better? So first of all, your main focus with protein should be your daily target. Okay, especially if you're a beginner, you should have a target for the amount of protein you're going to hit in a day. So I like to do 0.8 to 1.0 grams per pound of body weight. So the most important thing is that you hit that target each day. That's the number one thing. Number two, the source, whey or casein, it really doesn't matter. The most important thing with protein, especially with supplements, is that it's easy on your stomach, it tastes good, and that you actually enjoy having it. You find it like to be like a treat. Because I find a lot of times that people buy a lot of protein shakes and they think it tastes nasty, so they don't take it and they don't reach their protein. So you're kind of working against yourself here. So instead of worrying about which one is most optimal, worry about which one that you can have each day to eat to hit your protein target, to actually enjoy the taste of, and do not upset your stomach, because I know that happens with a lot of people. So again here, just trial and error. But really, whey or casein, no need to worry about that. Whey is a lot cheaper, so I actually would go with that. I would recommend that to anyone, really anyone. There's really no advantage to having casein over whey, honestly. A lot of people say have that before bed. It doesn't really make a difference. So number one, hitting your overall protein target for the day and trying to space it out is probably the next thing you want to worry about. But as far as source, whether that be coming from whey, casein, animal protein, kind of secondary protein from other, carbs and vegetables, stuff like that, doesn't matter. So no need to worry about that. All right, so let's talk about that stress one that I mentioned earlier. So does stress affect your nutrition or your progress? Again, I feel like this is very similar to sleep. So a lot of people think that stress is a very binary thing. Like if you experience it, it will stall your progress, or you won't be able to lose fat, or you won't be able to gain muscle. That's really not the cause. It's really what stress causes in your life and the lifestyle decisions that you make that kind of contribute to a lack of progress. So if you're really stressed, we're obviously more likely to overeat, to make subpar eating decisions, to choose more high calorie foods so that we can comfort ourselves. Food is probably the number one self-coping mechanism for when we're stressed, especially since we live in a society where we can literally go to any store and have any option available to us. That just wasn't available back in the day. That's why they kind of dealt with stress in more appropriate manners. But now we have the fortunate and unfortunate case of having food and a lot of it available to us at all times. So really, stress doesn't affect, your progress. It's what stress does to you that affects your progress. So a lot of people overeat because of it, and just make bad decisions. If you have a bad day, you might stop and get some fast food on the way home from work, even though that might not make you feel better in the long term. Short term it'll make you feel better. It'll kind of, neurochemically make you, a little dopamine spike, but then you'll come back right down, but you can't really sense that in the moment. But yeah, stress is probably the most important thing to manage while losing weight or while building muscle, because if it's not managed appropriately, everything that you do isn't going to be aligned with your goals. So you want to do this for about 2 hours a day with the sauna suit, of course. If you're not having the sauna suit on, 3 hours I'd recommend. We're trying to burn fat here, so yeah. All right, guys, we're in the gym now. I'm going to show you 3 different glute exercises that you can do basically at any gym. I'm going to walk you through each one. So I have like an easier one, intermediate, and then a super advanced one. So yeah, I'll just show clips here. Hope you enjoy. Try them out. All right, last question is, what's your opinion on test boosters? Flat out, don't buy them. They don't work. They don't do the things that they say they do. There's literally no need for them. You could spend your money on anything else, and not to be super harsh, but definitely to save you your money. Again, that's just one of those products that I think people try to perpetually push as like a quick fix thing, or something that will get you quick results without having to put the work in. I don't see anyone needing a test booster supplement unless you're a middle-aged guy, but that's go through the doctors, because the things you get in pill form or anything, that's not going to give you a sufficient amount of results anyway. So please don't buy them. They don't work. There's nothing else I can say about those. But that ends the Q&A, guys, today. So thanks for following me throughout my day, going to the gym with me, seeing these exercises here. I hope you guys learned something. I appreciate you guys asking, because if you guys didn't ask, I wouldn't be able to make content and kind of bring this to you guys. I really enjoy doing this stuff, so I appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions, always feel free to hit me up in the comment section, or just tell me what's up. You can always connect with me on Instagram, Twitter, anything. The links to that in my one-on-one online coaching will always be in the description. If you just want to say what's up, I appreciate that as well. As always, appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you next time.